Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And boy, I did not know what I was going to talk about today, but then things happened and I had to switch and change and shift around. And what would I speak about today? Well, lots of stuff happened, so I had lots of options, but there was one thing that I really wanted to bring up, and that was the new, nominee for Surgeon General. And you might say, Larry, you don't usually talk about those types of things. I do sometimes, but not that much, but I do sometimes. And the reason why I want to bring this up is there's a lot of controversy here, lots. And people who are on the opposite sides, generally speaking, of many issues, actually agree on some stuff that a lot of people don't agree on. The MAHA movement is being a bit torn back and forth because of this. This idea of Casey Means, by the way, being nominated for the Surgeon General. And two people who I know, I know, like I know Nicole Shanahan. I've met her. I adore her. I hope she decides to run for office sometime or does something that is special. I think she's great. And I know Laura Loomer. I've had her on my show. I know her too. I know them both. And in both cases, they're not happy. They are not happy. But if you look at most of the MAHA movement, most of the people in the movement are like, this is great. We love Casey Means. We want her to be in charge. But then these two people who very often will be on opposite sides, on this case, are absolutely both kind of against it. Now, I don't want to say necessarily that Nicole Shanahan is against it. I don't want to speak for her. She's not saying that, but she's definitely, I would say, probably in her own words, I would guess. I will put her words here so you'll see she can speak for herself in this regard. I would say not exactly as happy as can be and has some concerns. Laura Loomer is obviously against this pick. So clearly, obviously against this pick, not even playing at all, completely and totally against this pick. Now, why does this matter so much? I'm going to go from a whole different side of this, which I know most of you would say this. You would realize this. If you remember, there was first this Dr. Janet, I don't know if I say her name, is it Neshawat? I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. She was supposed to be the person who was going to, be this nominee. And supposedly this was someone that people didn't want her to be in the MAHA movement because she was too pro-establishment, was the concern that many people had in the MAHA movement, and not really, part of the movement. Well, it got removed. So Trump says, no, not her. And then says, hey, we're going to bring in this new one, Casey Means. Now, there are lots of attacks on her, and I get it. And I understand the attacks. I do. I don't want to discount them. They are actual attacks. I get it. And they're right. The question is, does it really matter? And that's a good point. A good question. Does it really matter? Right? So let me first start, if I could, with Laura Loomer, what she talks about. Then I will go to Nicole Shanahan, and then I'll go to a great thing, which of course Breaking Point's jumped on board because Breaking Points hates RFK Jr. because there's no reason for them to, but they do because they just establishment hacks half the time anyway. So yes, they hate him, but that's fine. Let me first bring up this. This is what Laura, see if I can find this piece here. Laura Loomer says, this is her from her Twitter post. This is a terrible pick by President Trump. Casey Means doesn't even have an active medical license. True. Now you might say, Larry, how can you pick someone who doesn't have an active medical license? Well, you don't have to be a doctor to be Surgeon General, number one. Number two, she is still a doctor. She just doesn't practice medicine anymore. It's no different than a lawyer who got a law degree and used to, keep up with their law license, decides to not be a lawyer anymore, and then decides to not keep up with their law license, right? You have to do, for those of you who don't know, most of you probably do know, you have to do continuing education to continually keep and retain your license for the state. I get it. Casey has decided she doesn't want to practice medicine anymore, so she doesn't do that. That doesn't make her bad. That means she's not practicing medicine anymore. She still graduated from medical school, still was a practicing doctor, isn't anymore. So that's an accurate statement, but not required. Laura goes on to say, shouldn't the U.S. Surgeon General have an active medical license? No, not required at all. Again, Laura, don't be mad at me if you haven't been watching. I'm not mad at you for this. I get, to be clear, some of you might say, why is Laura so angry? Look, I know Laura can be motivated. How about that? Is that a good word? She can be motivated. Absolutely, she can be motivated. Now, with that in mind, Laura doesn't do this because she wants clicks. I mean, she gets them, but that's not why she does it. She is a true believer. There's no doubt. If any of you happen to know her, she is a true believer. She honestly believes in MAGA. She honestly believes in Donald Trump. That's real. She says this because she believes it. It's not because she's trying to get clicks. That's not who she is. She honestly believes this. She would let it all burn down if she thought that was going to get this movement ahead. That's what she cares about. That's where her head is. So she does believe it. So I'm not mad at her for this. I just think she's on the wrong side in this one. She goes on to say, also, I thought you opposed making kids trans. It's child abuse. Now, that's unfair. That's unfair, Laura. Her father did write a book that was about kids who are gay or trans or unsure about their gender or their sexuality. And in the book, I think it's like a bird realizes that the bird is gay. Okay, I got it. Maybe you don't like that. Maybe you're upset with that. It's her father. It's not her. There's no difference in the attacks they made with Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard's father, I believe, was I forgot, some type of evangelical preacher or something like that. I'm going to get that wrong, but some of you remember that. And they were like, now she's that. No, that's her father. That's not her, right? When it was Biden and Hunter Biden, punish Hunter for what Hunter did and Biden for what Biden did. Now, Biden did stuff and should have been punished, but for Biden's stuff, not for Hunter's stuff. They're two separate issues. You don't keep them together. And in this case, that's not true. So she also talks about things like she's talking about praying to inanimate objects, talking to spiritual mediums, searching for stardust, talking to trees, and doing shrooms. All true. And at least half of the women who are listening and watching this now have done at least one of those, if not all of them. That's not an uncommon thing, Laura. I know you don't like it. And I get it. And probably you don't do shrooms or talk to that inanimate objects or whatever. But when it comes to things like spirituality and odd forms of spirituality compared to the straight, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, or whatever the case may be, there are a whole lot of women in this country who are open to those things and who do many of those things. Something to remember. And for those of you who are upset about this, there may be other reasons, and Nicole has different reasons, which I will cover in a moment. These aren't Nicole's reasons, by the way. These are Laura Loomer's reasons. Not Nicole's, they're separate. In the case of these pieces, look, if you are a Trump supporter and you want him to get his agenda done, and I know some of you who are listening do like Trump and want him to get his agenda done, remember something. Trump doesn't have a mandate. He doesn't beat Harris in the popular vote if it wasn't for MAHA. Let me say it again for those of you who support Trump and want him to get his agenda done. Okay, great, good for you. He doesn't have a mandate if it isn't for MAHA. MAHA movement was at least 3 million votes that came from Kennedy that went to Trump because of Kennedy. Now, a huge chunk of those are crunchy women. And you know what I mean when I say crunchy women. A huge chunk of them are. Many of them are former Democrats. I would argue most of them are former Democrats. Yes. So you've now created a unity ticket. That's what you've created, Mr. Trump. You made a unity ticket. You added MAHA as part of that. MAHA is responsible for your mandate. You're going to have to give something. Laura, don't be mad. If you want Trump to keep his mandate, if you want Trump to keep MAHA, you got to give. I know you don't like it. It isn't the end of the world. It isn't. You got to give. That's how that works. And so she talks to trees. I live in New York City. Half the women I know talk to trees. And I'm joking, but I'm not. And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's fine. Talk to the trees, search for stardust, crystals, the whole deal. There's a whole lot of crunchy women in this world. Lots of them in my city. It's fine. They're wonderful people. I love them. It's all good. And many of them supported Kennedy. And many of them now are supporting Republicans and supporting Trump because they absorbed MAHA. Republicans, if you want to keep MAHA, you got to give. That's how that works. Now, you don't have to. You could be a purist, and to be forward, Laura is a purist. It's true. If she's listening now, she's agreeing with me. She's probably mad at me now, but she's agreeing with me. It's true. She's a purist, and she wants everything pure. I get it. It is my opinion, for those of you who don't like Casey, for these reasons, I'm talking for Laura's reasons, not Nicole's, this is not a hill worth dying on. It just isn't. Let me explain why. She's not going to be in charge of making all these things. What does she become? What does she become? She becomes another spokesperson for the MAHA movement. Don't you want that? If you support the MAHA movement, don't you want that? Another one, someone who is savvy in front of the media, someone who's been on all the social media shows, someone who can go back on because they all like her. Do you think she can't go back on Rogan right now? Can't go back on whatever, Glenn Beck or wherever she wants to go on? She can't go back on them right now? Of course she can. Pushing the issues that the MAHA movement cares about. You think the other one could have done that? No. No. She can. That's a positive thing. That's a good thing we should consider. Now, let me keep going if I can. Laura goes on to say she's a terrible pick who is more focused on selling her books and products on her website with her brother than she is about giving sound medical advice. Please do not support this pick. She says this is insane to Charlie. This is a response to Charlie Kirk, who Charlie Kirk thinks is a great idea. I rarely say I agree with Charlie Kirk. In this case, I do. So yes, but I'll say it. It happens to be true. So look, is she concerned about selling books and products? Probably. Am I mad at that? No. You're telling me the people who go into government are only worried about serving the people? Stop. Stop that bullshit. Stop. They go in so they can somehow cash out. And they almost all do. So fine, sell your books. I don't care. I don't mean to be mean. I've told this about other people. If you want, if you're here trying to move something forward, if you're aggressively moving my agenda forward or something I want forward, and with that in mind, you get to, I don't know, sell your book or something, sell your book. I don't care. More people watch your radio show or TV show or something, or my podcast. Please watch my podcast. Good. Go ahead. I don't mind. I'm totally okay with that. It doesn't bother me at all. These reasons that Laura has put up, and again, I haven't touched Nicole's yet. The reasons that Laura has put up, in my view, not a hill worth dying on. And if you are someone who is hardcore MAGA and you want to move Trump's, his policies forward, okay, I got you. No worries. You may not want to fight on this hill, because please don't forget that Trump does not have a mandate without MAHA. Let's be very clear. Trump does not have a mandate without MAHA. With MAHA, he's got a mandate. He made a unity ticket. And you might go, well, he made a unity ticket. Well, so that's how he got, yes, which means you've got to give in. Yes, you do. You got Tulsi Gabbard on board. You got to give. You got Elon on board. You got to give. You got RFK Jr. on board. You got to give. And RFK Jr. gave you 3 million votes. That's how it works. My gut says it's not important. My feeling is this is not a hill worth dying on. This is an issue to be doing that. So yes. John says, Larry, Trump seems to be picking from the list of people that's been on JRE. Not a bad idea. Why? Or you might think why? Because how do you retain a mandate? If you look at what Trump is doing, for those of you who again, I know some of you don't like Trump and you hope he fails. I get it. You might love this then. But for those of you who absolutely want Trump to move forward, how can he keep his mandate if he can't keep people in the media saying, trust me, it's going to work? You can see that what he's doing is a problem. You can see it. What he's doing is creating some problems with people. You can see they're getting scared. Trump is starting to fall in the polls. Well, this is going to help. That's all I'm saying. Ryan, thank you for being a member. He says, are you telling Loomer to criticize Trump? Larry, do you realize what you've suggested? Lol. No, I'm not. I am not. Let me be very clear. Laura would never. She loves Trump. She loves him. And that's an honest love. She loves that man. She's never going to attack him. And I get it. I would never ask her. I would ask her, if she happens to be listening or you know her, I would ask her, just let this one go. She's probably not going to listen to me. I'm just being forward. She's probably not. But I would ask her, let this one go. That's all I'm saying. Missy, also a member, says, I took the trees every now and then. Nothing wrong with a good older tree. True. Totally true. Absolutely. Totally true. So I wanted to make sure that I covered that aspect of what Laura Loomer is saying and her attacks that she's been making. In my view, I get her concerns. She's not wrong in what she's saying. Her data is accurate. Laura's, to be forward, people don't like Laura, I know, but she's often true. She's often right. That's a fact. I know some people don't like that, but she's often right. So look, my view here is Charlie Kirk saying it's okay. Most of the MAHA saying it's okay. RFK Jr. is happy to have that happen. Maybe we should let that go. Maybe we should let that go. Because to your point about JRE, she is someone who will be able to push the message on social media better than most. She is someone who already has the contacts. And will she make extra cash? Good. Let her make extra cash. And look, by the way, Casey, if you make extra cash, how about supporting some MAHA people who are running for office? Make your money, sell your books or whatever you're selling. I don't know what she's selling, whatever. Her books or her products on her website. Sell a whole bunch of them. Take some of that money and support some local MAHA candidates who are running in states all around the country. Do that. And it's win-win. I'm totally fine with that. So in any case, I think that piece is important to understand. So any case, I covered, I think that's the piece I really covered from Laura. I now want to cover, if I can, a piece from, this is just recently. This is today, a couple of hours ago. She was on the Glenn Beck show. This is Nicole Shanahan on the Glenn Beck show. And I'll pop this up so you guys can see it. And her concerns. She has different concerns, by the way. Her concerns are different concerns, right? They're not the same. Obviously, they're different people, different issues. They're not the same concerns that Laura Loomer has. Nicole Shanahan is not a rabid Trump supporter. She's not. She's much more of a MAHA supporter than she is a MAGA supporter. Clearly, she is. So let me grab some of this if I could. All righty. Can I get this going? Here we go.
I want to ask you, the Surgeon General thing, are you for Casey Means or not for Casey Means?
Well, I'll tell you who I am for, Glenn.
Okay.
I'm for all of those Americans, the hundreds of thousands of doctors seeking truth, honesty, and dignity in our medical system. Once again, that is what I'm for. That is what propelled MAHA into existence.
Yep. She's right.
That is what propelled Bobby Kennedy into the position of running for president of the United States. That's why I joined the campaign. It really is about listening to this group of doctors that did the right thing during the COVID pandemic, that spoke up when it was dangerous to speak up, that lost their licenses. And so when I hear from that base concern or research about individuals in and around MAHA, I have to listen to them. And I do listen to them because oftentimes they are right.
She is 100% on point. And just to be clear, I know a lot of you guys think that Laura's crazy. I know you do. I know you do, but I don't. And that's fine. I know some of you don't like Nicole. I do very much. And that's where I am. So I'm giving you my biases up front, so you're aware of that. Just there's where my biases are. You can do what you want with that information. John, by the way, thank you for the $4.99. Appreciate the super sticker. Every bit does count. Thank you so much, my friend. So what Nicole here is saying is she's concerned about all those doctors. Agreed. The previous pick was not someone who would care about that. The previous pick is not someone who would talk about things like prevention, metabolic health, anti-mandates, anti-establishment. You know, Casey Means' story, I mean, I don't know her personally. Her story is that she basically walked away from it because she saw how bad it was. It's a good story. She's going to say that often. She's going to be defending the doctors who are like, this establishment doesn't work. And again, I'll say it again. She can do it literally on massive social media programs and do it well. She's proven she can do it very well. She's good at this. She knows them. She can get back out there again. Our previous surgeons general have not been great when it comes to that. Right there, stiff and blah, blah, blah. She can just go and talk and yap and do stuff. It's not a bad deal, right? It's not a bad deal. She's a good voice for social media, a good voice that would, in my view, I think she would help Bobby. She's better than Bobby at this. And Bobby's got work to do. Surgeon General's the face. I don't mean to be cruel, but Surgeon General's, right? I mean, is the face.
They're brave and they're principled. So the concern I've been hearing from that group of people is that MAHA has, any movement, MAGA had this issue too, of infiltration by different groups that are more self-serving than they are for the movement itself.
Now, she's totally right on this. I wish she was wrong on this, but she's totally right. For those of you who are listening and watching who have been part of the MAHA movement, it absolutely was infiltrated more than once by people who were just either trying to openly harm it, or by those who are only self-centered. 100% true. 100% true. People jumped in the movement, and she saw it. Nicole saw that firsthand, and so did many people who were there. So, yeah, that is an issue. It's a problem. I get it. With that in mind, is it overall good? And where do I go with that? Throughout time, how about that? I'll go there. Throughout time, many powerful armies have not only relied on loyal soldiers, but have also relied on some type of people who are in it for something else, like mercenary soldiers, consultants, contractors, things of that sort. We do it in America. Russians do it. We all do it. Sometimes a movement requires hired guns who, while we have the same goal, we don't have the same reason. That's not always good to accept. It's true, right? And it's one of the reasons why the Libertarian Party has suffered so much. You're not pure enough. Yes, but I can get the job done, but you're not pure enough. Yes. Then there's the opposite side here. And this side is the opposite of that. There are times when you can have too many mercenaries and not enough true believers, and then you can't get anything done. And my worry is that right now, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is in a spot where he doesn't have enough allies. The question I would have, and I think Nicole has the same question, is Casey an ally? If she's an ally, great place for her to be. Help Bobby have some more allies, have some more voices, right? And a bit more freedom. She can go out and do things that maybe Bobby couldn't do. Maybe she can take a couple hits and Bobby will go, oh, did she say that? I didn't know she said that. So maybe some of that too. So I think there may be some other behind the scene things here where this may actually be something better. Look, I've run for office before. I've been in politics before. When you're in politics, loyalty does matter. Now, Trump is at the extreme for that, right? But he also got backstabbed a whole lot in his first term. So people tease him and go, all Trump cares about is people who are loyal to him. Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. That doesn't always give you the most competent people. Yes, that's true. You're right. And still, very often, people require loyalty because they don't want to be backstabbed. They want to have political power. They want to move things forward. The question is, does Bobby Kennedy Jr. see Casey as an ally? From what he's saying, yes.
And so just one example, Casey Means is a founder of a company that does biometric harvesting. She's very close with many of the big data biometric harvesting companies in Silicon Valley. And this, I know several of these people. You do not want them running in a government position that is responsible for everybody equally, right?
Okay, so wait. What is bio? What is that? They're harvesting what?
Yeah.
Well, so biometric data is anything between heart rate data to all of the data that is collected from your Fitbit or high glucose monitor. It could be labs.
Okay,
it could be and then there's
now the response to this is right. This is Casey response to this. She's also right. Nicole is right. Again, everything Laura said when I spoke about Laura Loomer is correct. They're not lying. Everything Nicole is saying is correct. She's not lying. This is accurate data. What I'm saying here is, what would Casey's response to this be? She didn't want to be a doctor where she would just deal with individual people. She wanted to do something bigger and better and stronger. And being able to check the biometrics of thousands of people, you can make more impact. She's concerned about metabolic health more than just putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. She's more concerned about that. So that will be her response. You may disagree. You may think Nicole's correct in this one. I'm not sure.
All the DNA harvesting and big data that's being done. So, I think that the base MAHA really came from medical freedom and medical sovereignty, and the idea that we have to keep conflicts of interest out of the government. And so when I get
her point, but Nico says it here too. Thank you for being a member, Nico. TrueMed and Levels have helped so many people already. You're not wrong. Look, I have a Whoop. I do it too. Helps with my sleep, helps me with my calorie burns, helps with my activity levels. I'm not mad at it. I pay a monthly fee. I'm not mad at it. Yes, I'm with you, Nico. I'm with you. This to me is not a deal breaker in my view. It is not. That's my view. Ryan, thank you for $55. If Casey is an ally of RFK Jr., is there nothing that they can't get done? My question was, will Trump let them do their thing? Well, that becomes the issue, right? Are there people within HHS and within the Trump administration that would stop RFK from doing things? Of course, Ryan. Of course. And I've said this many times, and some people don't believe me till they find out the hard way. I've said this. I said this last year. And I've said it before, years. And I said the same thing, which is, in politics, you don't enforce your contracts by going to the cops or complaining to a judge. That doesn't exist in politics. Your agreements and your contracts are enforced through leverage and leverage only. Politics is the mob. It's the mafia. That's what it is. Not kind of, not maybe. It is that. If you don't have leverage, if you don't have political power, if you don't have that, you don't get your contracts enforced. I don't care what someone promises you. Means nothing. Means nothing. Totally agree. Means nothing. So with that in mind, the more allies you have, the more leverage you have. And leverage usually means one of three things. Number one, it means votes. Number two, it means cash. Or number three, it means influence in the public. Now, RFK Jr. can't match Donald Trump's cash. Impossible. Cannot do it. Cannot do it. Right? Can't match the cash. Can he match the votes? Nobody has enough votes. 3 million is enough if he keeps it. But he also can get out there in the public too. All of them can do both. So I think he kind of has to. If that makes any sense. So Kim, thank you for being a member. She says, I agree with the point on conflicts of interest. Yes, however, there's a however to this. I agree too. However, the vast majority of the establishment does not care at all. They're all doing trading on the stock market. Trump still has his businesses. He's still making money. He's still doing Trump stuff. They're still doing it. Biden was doing his stuff in Ukraine, whatever. He was doing stuff too. They all do it. Now, does that make it right? Now, to be very fair, it doesn't make it right. But I'm going to give you an example of when I think this is okay. And this is my view. You may disagree, Kim. Libertarians say getting money from the government is wrong and generally you shouldn't take it, right? It's bad because of libertarians. We don't believe in that. If I can get matching funds from the government, am I going to take it? 100% yes. Is it libertarian? No. But my competition is. They're all taking it. I have to fight them. I'm taking it. So if I get matching funds, I am taking them. Libertarians get mad. Oh, you're not pure enough libertarian. Good. You go lose again. I don't care. Go lose again. And you be righteous on your podcast somewhere and lose again. Good. I'm taking the cash because they're all fighting me with that cash. So while there are conflicts of interest, I agree. The same thing I said about Laura, it's not a hill to die on. This might be a similar hill we don't want to die on. That's all I'm saying. Might be a similar hill. I'm actually unsure, Kim, how detailed this is. If it is as bad as Nicole says, and it may be, then here's the thing that's going to come out. What people don't get. Kim, there's going to be hearings. She doesn't just get it. She isn't the Surgeon General. there will be hearings. And in the hearings, they're going to ask all these questions. And hopefully she'll be savvy enough to say, hey, I'm going to, not be a part of this, or I'm going to, divest from my company, or whatever is the thing she's going to do, right? She would do that thing, one would assume. I hope she would at least. So we'll find out, right? So there we go. Sarah, thank you for being a member, says, I think Nicole wants Dr. Ladapo, is that right? Ladapo as Surgeon General. Well, maybe that's true. JGJ agrees. Awesome pick from Florida. Is that the Florida Surgeon General? Is that the guy? I think that is the Florida Surgeon General. Is that guy? If I remember, I think he's the Florida Surgeon General. But anyway, yeah, that guy's savvy too. I like him. He's great. But my point is, if that's true, why wasn't he put up? Why wasn't he put up? I don't know. So let me keep going with Nicole.
See some stuff going on that we could be doing better, right? Our job, and I learned this from the MAHA base, our job is to continue to seek the best possible people for government that are truly putting the principles of this country first, the principles of American sovereignty first.
So you wrote yesterday, it's very strange. It doesn't make any sense. I was promised that if I supported RFK Jr. in the Senate confirmation, that neither of these siblings would be working under HHS or in an appointment, and that people much more qualified would be. I don't know if RFK very clearly lied to me or what's going on. It has been clear in recent conversations that he is reporting to someone regularly who is controlling his decisions, and it isn't President Trump. With regards to the siblings, there is something very artificial and aggressive about them, almost as if they were bred and raised as Manchurian assets. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And let me cover a couple of those too. Look, Nicole has every reason to feel the way she feels. For those of you who don't know what happened, I don't want to detail it at all, but here's what I'll say. And I don't think anybody in the RFK camp or Nicole, who I hope is watching, would disagree with this. She was not treated as well as she should have been treated. I think everyone would agree with that. By most of the RFK leadership, she was not treated as well as she deserved to be treated. I think that's crystal clear. As far as I'll go, some of you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I'm sorry. I'm not going to spill that tea here. Not going to happen. But I'll go that far. Not as well as she should have. With that in mind, I get why she's upset. I get it. It makes total sense. I get why she's concerned and worried. I am too. I've been worried the whole time. You've seen me here. I've been worried the whole time. Nobody, and to be clear, nobody was more concerned openly about RFK Jr. jumping on a Trump train than I was. I literally did a whole video on it before he even did it. You guys remember that video. So I've been worried about this now for probably 8 months. So it's not like I'm new to this concern. I get it. I was more concerned than her, I think. But she was concerned too, obviously, right? And now we're saying, wait a minute, is this coming to fruition? Is this really a big problem? She has every right to be concerned. My issue here is Casey and Callie, either one, they're both being involved. Has RFK been duped by both of them? It's possible. I hope not. It's possible. And I think that's Nicole's worry. I think Nicole's worry is, and here to be forward, those of you who know RFK Jr. know something else too. He is not a cutthroat. He's not a cutthroat political animal. There we go. That was kind of a nice way to say it. He's not a cutthroat political animal. He's not. He's nowhere near as aggressive or mean or any of those things. I am far worse. He's not that calculating like that. He isn't not like that. I am far worse. Any case, yes. And he doesn't have me as his bodyguard to take out people like that. He doesn't have that. I'm not his attack dog. I was last year when it came to the public, but I'm not part of the campaign now. So anyway, he didn't have that now. So now he's looking for allies. Nicole's worry is a valid worry. If Casey and Callie are somehow bad guys or Manchurian candidates, if that's true, I mean, I don't see that, but I could be wrong. if she's right and they are that, or her concerns are valid, she's not saying that. She's worried. Again, valid worry. If it's true, then we have two people who are close to Bobby Kennedy who are going to try to stop him. But my issue is the establishment already wants to stop him. He already has an establishment against him. Nicole says so he's reporting to somebody. I don't know that to be true, but that's believable, right? Again, I don't know that to be true, but I have no reason to think she's wrong. She's probably right. She has lots of insight to these things. Lots of people talk to her and chat with her. She's probably correct. If that's true, that means Trump has one of his guys, or MAGA does, if it's not Trump. MAGA has somebody there saying, no, you may not do this, you can do that, whatever, if that's true. And if that's true, Laura Loomer's like, no. I don't want Casey in there to stop my MAGA people from getting the MAGA stuff done. And I get it, Laura, I get it. But you got to give. So I'm hoping that if Nicole is correct about Bobby being controlled by some MAGA person, if that's true, I'm hoping that if that's true, that we get someone like a Casey in to help out to be an ally, because she will be. Here's the issue that where the leverage matters. It does matter in social media now. It does. Why do you think Laura does so well on Twitter? Why should she do so well on social media? It matters.
So to keep in mind, that was not, I was responding to Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, who was also expressing very similar sentiments.
Yeah.
Concern. There's better candidates. So what's going on? I also heard from other MDs in the field that there was another doctor that RFK had wanted for the position, very, very qualified doctor. And you know, she was caught by surprise as well by this other choice. So, you know, there's, again, they don't call it the swamp for no reason, right?
Thank you. They don't call it the swamp for no reason. Absolutely. Kim says, you went on Kim Iverson about it too. That's how I got to know you. Yes, I was very concerned about this. I get Nicole Shanahan's worry. I completely understand it. I totally get it. I had the same worries months ago.
And I'm not officially within the administration at all. In fact, I've decided to take the path of staying an independent media person, which I think, and you know this, Glenn, it's really important that when you are an independent media voice, that you stick by your principles, and that you're not just a mouthpiece for any government organization, but you're really on the outside reflecting back the hopes and wishes of the constituents.
I completely agree with that. I think that's absolutely correct. She's right. You do have to do that. And this is the part that I think I might shift. I have spent so much time trying to be the best libertarian that I can early on in my life. And I still try to be a very good libertarian. I try to be. But you can get completely absorbed to a point where purity tests become all that matter. I don't want to go down that road. I want to make sure that we are good enough for me as libertarian, for other people as whatever principles they have. You don't have to be a libertarian, of course, but that's me. But I also want to move the ball forward. I also want to make things change, right? And look, I get it. Laura believes that America First is the right answer. Okay, I got it. And she's moving it forward. Yes. And Nicole Shanahan wants to move MAHA forward. Yes, I get it completely. But the thing we have to remember is we're being upset. There is going to be a hearing, right? There's going to be a hearing. And do you think, look, Laura Loomer has a lot of influence. Clearly she does. So there are going to be senators who are going to be asking questions that Laura's asking about. Guaranteed. There's going to be pictures of her dad's book. You know that's going to be there. Nicole Shanahan has influence in the MAHA movement. Clearly she does. So there's going to be people who are more MAHA who are going to be saying that. Of course, those questions are going to be asked. I'm saying let them go through the point. Let them go through it. That's what I'm saying. So yes, Andrea says, I am skeptical Case will make it through. I don't know. She's pretty savvy. She might. She's pretty savvy. She might. I'm not really sure. But I get your concern. Let me grab a couple of comments. You guys got a lot of comments. I got one more piece I want to show you after that one, if I can. Let me grab this. Vivek says, she seems a good pick and MAHA aligned. I don't get what the backlash is. I hope I explained it. I think I gave you Laura Loomer's concerns and Nicole Shanahan's. I think, yes. Elda Lopez says, so happy with this choice. She's amazing. Most people in the MAHA movement are happy. Most are. Not all. Most are, though. The problem is the people who are unhappy have a lot of influence. Nicole Shanahan is known throughout MAHA. She's known. I personally love her. I adore her. I hope she doesn't stop doing what she's doing. So she has a lot of influence. I responded to this. I'm doing this because two people who I know are against like everybody else. So that's why I jumped on this. I literally changed what I was going to do for tonight because of this. So yes, that's why. It's very true. So yeah. All righty. Let me see if I can go on here. Mike says, odds on Laura being 5 minutes late. Well, yeah, I was late. It's true. Mike giving me hell. Yes, I was absolutely. But again, I had to change everything, shift everything around, jump through. That was a tough one. So yeah, but I got here. So I guess that's good in any case. So yes, Lunatic is in the house. Happy you are here, my friend. I'm glad you are here. That is amazing. I do appreciate that. So yeah. All right. Kim says, I almost sent you a video on a topic you have chosen. Look at that. See, I was going to do a different video someone sent me. I actually have 2 other videos people have been sending me. I have 2 of them now in the chamber, ready to do either tomorrow or whatever the case may be. So I've got a bunch of them. Wildflower was not happy. Wildflower said both batshit. Well, you're all batshit. Actually, Wildflower, if you think we're all batshit, that's probably you, to be forward. That's probably you. And I say that because if you think the current system's working, you're not paying attention. And that's okay. You don't have to pay attention. I don't mind. And you can call me names. I don't mind at all. It's totally fine. Yes. Matt says, Casey and Callie Means Tucker interview is what set off the MAHA movement like what? You know, this is my point, Matt. You're bringing up my point. Someone like Casey and Callie, but in this case, Casey, they can get right back out and push an issue, push a concern. And I feel like some of the most important things about MAHA are things like anti-mandate. They will push anti-mandate. They will push it. Metabolic health. They will push metabolic health. She literally says she collects the data. Yes. Literally collects the data. She's going to push it. Prevention. Come on. Doctors rarely push prevention. She's going to push the anti-establishment. Absolutely. I think she'll push all of those things. But something else. There are a whole lot of women who are going to connect to Casey. Why does that matter? Casey had to worry about whether she's going to find a partner or not, whether she's going to have children or not. There's so many women who are professionals who are going through that right now. Literally tens of millions of American women right now are going through, what do I do with my career? What about my family? Do I have a family? Do I want children? Do I want to find a partner? They're going through it right now. She went through it. And Laura's teasing her about talking to the spirits or trees. This is part of what she cares about for her journey. That's how she got through that, right? I'm not judging her on that. If moving through spirituality, whatever type of spirituality you have, is what moves you into being happy or better or helps you find the right answer for whether you're going to, make your career this or find a partner or have kids or whatever the thing is, good for you. As long as you find it, whatever it takes. And it took her, she says it took her doing things like, shrooms. She did it. Fine. Look, I'm not against any of this. I'm a libertarian. You put whatever substance you want in your own body. It's your body. Enjoy. A lot of my Marine brothers, they deal with the shroom stuff. It deals with their PTSD. You do you. I'm not concerned about that at all. But with all that in mind, you got somebody who is on the side of MAHA versus others. Now, is that Florida guy a good guy? Probably a good guy. But is he really MAHA? He's not. He's more MAGA, which is okay. I'm not mad at Trump won. Trump gets to have MAGA if he wants to have MAGA, right? It's fine. He can get it if he wants to. But it's not really MAHA. Casey, I think, is. That's where my head is. I think Casey is. So I do want to, if I can, show you a little bit of breaking points. They talk about this, and they just love fighting whenever there's fighting and it's not Democrats. They just love it. So yes. Ryan goes on and says, I love the MAHA movement, but I'm increasingly annoyed by MAGA each and every day. Well, here's the issue, right? It's a unity ticket. They're gonna butt heads. And at some point, you got to be like, okay, I'll take it. Okay, I'll take it. That's the hard part about making unity tickets. I think you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong, Ron. I'm saying, but if you're going to have a unity ticket, you got to do this. And to be forward, you got to have allies. If I were to win the governorship, would I bring in Republicans, Democrats? Of course I would. Of course I would. Would I also bring in some loyal libertarians? 100% I would. But Larry, what if the better person is more of an establishment Republican or Democrat? Some of them will get, and some of them won't. Why, Larry? Don't you always want the best person? No. No. I have a political coalition. This isn't a business. If it's a business, you want the best person. You're paying them money, best person. I get it. It's not business. It's politics. Loyalty does matter. It doesn't mean that I only get loyalty. It doesn't mean that. But I've got to have enough loyalty, and I've got to give enough to others so I can keep my coalitions together. So would I keep Democrats, Republicans in? I would. And some libertarians be like, you can't take that Democrat or Republican in. I have a coalition I'm putting together. If I win the governorship, I put together a coalition. So I have to take some Democrats, Republicans, some Green Party guys. I got to bring them in. MAHA people, I got to bring them all in. I have to. Or I can't retain my coalition. I can't retain power. I can't move everything down the field. I have to. That's politics. So I know that sounds terrible. And some of you are like, Larry, that's terrible. You're selling out. I don't care. Then call me a seller. I care. I've been called far worse. Probably just in this chat. So yes, we have to get things done. And I think that is a piece for us to be concerned about. So, all right. Let me see if I can pull this piece up if I can. Hold on. And this is from Breaking Points. Look at them giggling. She just loves it. Oh, she loves it.
Very interesting story with regard to the Surgeon General. Okay, I'll start from where we are, and then we'll back up and do some of the backstory here. So put Trump's announcement here up on the screen. He pulled his previous Surgeon General nominee and has now announced Dr. Casey Means to be nominated as our next Surgeon General of the USA. Casey has impeccable MAHA credentials and will work.
So now Trump is on board with this, right? So he's on board. He said do it. Does that make you afraid? Maybe. And maybe that's why Nicole's scared, because Trump said it. To your point, Ryan, maybe Casey's more MAGA than MAHA, but I don't think so. I feel like no, but I guess we'll see.
This is what Trump said. With our wonderful Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., to ensure a successful implementation of our agenda in order to reverse the chronic disease epidemic and ensure great health in the future for all Americans. Her academic achievements, together with her life's work, are absolutely outstanding. Dr. Casey Means has the potential to be one of the finest Surgeon Generals in U.S. history. Congratulations to Casey. Secretary Kennedy looks forward to working with Dr. Jeanette. I don't know how to say her last name. Do you?
I think it's Neshawat, right?
In another capacity at HHS. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Dr. Jeanette.
Now, Neshawat is going to go someplace else. That's great. All good. So they've shifted things around. This may not be a bad thing. So I'm saying it may not be a bad thing. Rick says, I'm more of a spiritual dilettante than most, and I love to entertain woo-woo until I see the cracks. I had zero problems with Marianne Williamson on this count. It's not worse than any faith. I love Marianne Williamson. I had dinner with her last year. Wonderful person. I adore her. We don't agree with politics very much at all. I know you guys like, why do you like people who don't agree with your politics? I have lots of friends who don't agree with my politics. You guys see, I bring them on a show. Marianne Williamson, I'm always going to be positive about her because she is also a true believer. Marianne Williamson actually wants to make this country better. She actually wants to help people's lives. She actually wants to do the right thing. And yeah, she's woo-woo, as you would say, compared to others. I think she is. But that's not why you should be against her, if any other reason, right? You cannot like her policies. I get that. She's far further left than I am. Far further left than I am. But she's not doing it because she's trying to harm. She's doing it because she thinks it's the right thing. She's trying to fix things. And if being woo-woo makes you a good person, I'm okay with that. Whatever gets you to your happiness, whatever makes you better. I'm with you, Rick. This is not someone being spiritual and some spiritual that I'm not is no reason for me to discount them in any way, shape, or form. It just isn't. I agree this. Yes. Nico says, I'm really glad you're saying this, dog. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. He goes on to say, damn straight, I can attest to that, having being on Team Kennedy out there grinding for signatures. It's important, but in a way that is beneficial to everyone. Yes, it is tough. Yes. So let me keep going.
And I'll just call her, sorry that I don't have the pronunciation correct. Happens to be married to Mike Wolf.
So good.
There's another, just gotta love that one. So anyway.
This is Shakespeare. This is Shakespeare.
It truly is. So, and she, and the drama is as of yet unresolved. There are many acts, I guess, to go in this drama. But
wait, there's more.
Dr. Jeanette gets pulled.
What bothers me about this here, is not that they're covering the story. The part that bothers me here is the glee in which they love how everything's falling apart. Breaking Points will tell you all the time, they're against corporate media, they're against the establishment. Well, so's RFK Jr. Clearly, he's against the establishment. Clearly he is. If you think he's not, you're not paying attention. It's fine, you don't have to pay attention. But he's clearly against the establishment. Whether you agree with what he's doing or not, he is clearly against the establishment. He had the best chance of running independent possible. And the establishment is trying to crush him. Nicole Shanahan just said so. So clearly, Laura Loomer is trying to crush him. Yes, already happening. You should be happy. But the problem is they just hate Trump so much. Sadly, they just have TDS. And that makes anything connected to Trump that goes bad is a good thing for them.
After criticism from Laura Loomer and others, I think.
Who, by the way, now says she's been hired by Donald Trump himself about 4 times, but his staff has always thwarted
Loomer?
The hiring process.
Really?
Yes, I just saw this.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So anyway.
Well, Trump does like Laura. Like this is a mutual friendship. Trump likes Laura. He actually likes her. That's true. He does like her. So I think he'd love to be working with her.
The original one gets pulled because of, backlash from Loomer and others, feeling like she had been, she was too pro-vaccine, that sort of thing, right? She was like too sort of normal in terms of the medical establishment. So they didn't like.
Yes, and she laughs. She was too normal. Our health in America is garbage. That is why there is a MAHA movement. Because our health in America is garbage compared to all other countries who are anywhere close to us when it comes to finances. Anywhere close to us. Garbage. Absolutely. So why are you laughing? You know why she's laughing? I'll tell you why she's laughing. Because she goes to private doctors. I say this all the time. Every time you see someone on TV or on some show or something laughing about the stupid people and the this and that, because they go to private doctors. They have enough money that they don't care about insurance. I mean, they may use it, maybe, but they go to private doctors. They don't care. I see it here in New York all the time. That's why. So she can laugh about you poors.
Like her. So they pulled her. There was also some question about her LinkedIn page said she graduated from a different medical school than she actually graduated from, something like that as well. Okay, so she gets pulled and Dr. Casey Means gets put in. I'm going to leave it to you to explain a little bit about Casey Means and her brother Callie Means, who kind of came out of nowhere
and
to be
laughing.
huge. I mean, I think it's fair to call them health influencers. They make the podcast circuit, Rogan, Tucker, very tied in with the MAHA movement.
And now if you notice, now they don't like Rogan anymore. Did you notice that? Now they don't like Rogan. Why? Because Rogan had Trump on, didn't have Harris on. I'm not joking. Yeah, her and her older son Kyle, oldest son Kyle, they're mad, absolutely angry, so mad at Rogan now. They've thrown Rogan under the bus now. So now they're jealous because they can't get on anymore. Yes.
And so, have voiced all of the right skepticisms of vaccines. We'll show you Joe Rogan clip where Casey Means is saying, vaccines may cause autism, the same nonsense that RFK Jr. peddles and is aggressively pushing with his, his study that he's conducting that seems he's already come up with the answer of what he wants.
See, dismissive. The left, I tell you this yesterday when I was talking about the right and the left. The right distracts, the left dismisses. She immediately goes, she hasn't said the story yet. She starts with dismissive. So don't believe anything this crazy RFK guy does. That's how they always start. The right distracts, the left dismisses. every single time.
Study on autism ultimately to say. So that's kind of the world that she comes out of, Emily.
So I think maybe a good place to begin is with this clip of Callie and Casey Means on Joe Rogan's show. And actually Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Told people to watch their appearance on Joe Rogan's show, kind of held it up as a good example or a good.
This is a good example, right? I like this concept. Let me grab a couple comments real fast. Andrea, thank you for being a member. I personally like the nomination of Casey Means, and I feel she is an ally as well as her brother Callie. I hope so. Here's what I know. Bobby Kennedy Jr. believes that to be true. I think Nicole is concerned that he may be wrong or they've duped him or others. And it's possible, right? She says Manchurian candidate. Nicole could be right. I hope she's wrong. But here's my other issue. If not her, then who? Now, Nicole said lots of more qualified people. Okay, that's true. The question is, and I would ask Nicole this or anybody else, is not Laura, because Laura would just be one of her people, but I'd ask Nicole or anyone else who's concerned, if you're part of the MAHA movement and you think that Casey's wrong, okay. If not that, who? Who would be able to do it? And most importantly, be an ally. Larry, it shouldn't matter. It should matter who's most qualified. No, it does matter, particularly when you're in trouble, sitting in the swamp, and there are swamp creatures everywhere. You require allies. You require allies. This isn't a business. This is government. This is the mob. This is the mafia. You need bodyguards around you. That's how it works. So you need to have someone who's qualified and is loyal. You need both. And for some people who haven't been around politics, you may think, Larry, you're exaggerating. I am not exaggerating at all. And you need somebody who can get the public on your side. Remember something. If RFK Jr. no longer has any pull, why doesn't Trump replace him? Get rid of him. Yeah, that's beyond Trump. Stop. He could, and he would if he wanted to, but Trump wants to keep MAHA, which is smart. I want to be very clear. MAHA takes Democratic voters and makes them Republican. That's what MAHA does. Out of those 3 million voters that came over, at least 2 million were former Democrats. At least 2 million were former Democrats. Who does that? Bobby Kennedy Jr. does that. Nicole Shanahan does that. Yes, Nicole Shanahan was an active member and donor of the Democratic Party. Now she's considering supporting Republicans. Come on now. That's MAHA. As long as he has that leverage, he has power. If he loses that leverage, he has no power. They're not going to care. Trump wasn't talking about food. He wasn't talking about health before Bobby Kennedy Jr. Think about what Trump was talking about in August, September. August, July. We're talking about that. MAHA comes aboard. All of a sudden, it's about make America healthy again. All of a sudden, yes. So I hope you're right, Andrea. I hope you're right.
Explainer, primer on what MAHA is all about. So if we roll this out from Rogan, it's C7, you'll get a good flavor of sort of what they're all about. And we can go a little bit deeper, given that she's now nominated for Surgeon General. So let's go ahead and roll C7.
Yeah, I bet that one vaccine probably isn't causing autism. But what about the 20 that they're getting before 18 months? Like, we don't look at it in synergistic, and so that's a big.
What Surgeon General would say that? Can you tell me when that would? Just say that. She didn't say that the jab, I probably just got demonetized because of watching that. The jab caused the spectrum. She didn't say that. She said, okay, maybe the one doesn't. Okay. But did we look at the 20? Did we look at that? Who would say that?
Problem, and this is where the cult of the science, and I say the science specifically because science is beautiful, using the scientific method and using that way of inquiry into the natural world is a beautiful art. But weaponizing papers that are often bought for.
Who says that? Now, is it possible she's a Manchurian candidate? It's possible. It's possible. But if she is, she's really a good actor. And it could be, but she's like really a good actor because she was on the campaign. She was helping people out. Matt even says it. Matt says, not to mention the Means have been working with RFK Jr. during his campaign. They were instrumental in his message. It's true. That's true. So yeah, I mean, yes. Nico says Casey and Callie are about putting people's health in their own hands, which is like what Nicole is saying. Look, I understand completely why Nicole is concerned. I do. She watched some stuff happen, as did I, and some of you who were on the campaign. You all watched some stuff happen. There is a valid reason to be concerned. The campaign and even the PACs were infiltrated by people who were purposely trying to harm or were only about themselves. That absolutely happened. Nicole's 100% correct. That absolutely happened. And she was not treated as well as she had been treated. And if they would have treated her, Nicole, better, she might have been able to see this and stop this. I think that's also true. So I get why she's concerned. But I feel like, wow, she's got to be a really great actor. And maybe she is.
Or corrupted. And, you know, the leaders of some of our key medical journals have actually even said that 50% of scientific research that published ends up being wrong. So it's bought for, corrupted, or wrong. We rely on this. And one interesting trend that we're seeing in our world is that if we do choose to put dots together or use our intuition, our God-given intuition, anything other than this particular way of examining things, you are dangerous. You are dangerous. And I think...
And that's the word they use constantly, dangerous. That's the word they use. She's correct. That is the word you will hear constantly. RFK Jr. is dangerous. His views are dangerous. What Trump's doing is dangerous. Trump's policies are dangerous. You will hear dangerous on everything. His speech is dangerous. He can't say that, it's dangerous. He can't talk the way it's dangerous. She's correct. She's correct. Sarah, thank you for being a member. She says, listen to Nicole's interview with Florida Surgeon General Dr. And hold on, JGJ said it's pronounced Ladapo. Thank you. With General Surgeon General, Florida Surgeon General Dr. Ladapo. He does seem more prepared for the job than Dr. Means. Of course, he's a state Surgeon General. There's no doubt he's more prepared. I agree with you, Sarah. And I think it's obvious. Of course he is. To say, again, what Nicole Shanahan's saying is accurate. She's not lying. It's true. There are more qualified people. The question is he loyal to Trump? Is he loyal to DeSantis? Is he loyal to Bobby Kennedy Jr.? I don't know. My assumption would be he's more loyal to DeSantis than anybody else. And if that's true, Trump is never going to put him on. Right? And you might go, but wait a minute, he's more qualified. This is politics. Trump is never put on a guy who is loyal to DeSantis. After what DeSantis and him went through, Trump is petty. He would never do that. So he's like, nope. He would tell Ladapo no just to piss off DeSantis. You think I'm joking? Of course he would. Of course he would. So I'm not saying you're wrong either, Sarah. But again, the point I keep bringing up, this isn't a business. This is politics. And politics is the swamp. It's called a swamp for a reason. And swamp creatures are there for a reason. How many times have you, and Sarah, you've been listening for a while, Kim longer, some of you guys listen for a long time, right? Missy's been with me for 8 years now. How many times have I said things that sounded mean or cruel and then been right? All the time. This is a swamp. I know I was crushed by the swamp more than once. And when you get your ass kicked by the swamp, you learn. And boy, did I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way. And I sometimes talk to people about it. And I tell them, no, this will happen, that'll happen. They're like, Larry, you're right. Yes. It's a swamp. That's all I'm saying. So you're not wrong, Sarah. But loyalty does matter. That's the piece. Kim said, could this also be setting the stage for RFK to make a strong 2028 run? I don't know how. I don't know how. Is Casey going to... Oh, you mean maybe Casey will be more of a mouthpiece for him in the press? It could be. Okay, maybe. I could see that. Maybe. I'm not sure how far ahead Bobby Kennedy Jr. is actually thinking, to be forward with you. I'll give you my gut. To be forward, sometimes I have inside information. In this case, I do not. This is just my gut saying. If I were him, I would be more concerned with solidifying my current job and my current castle before I'd imagine setting forth to do anything else. That's what I'd be concerned about. I'd be making sure that I am safe and secure in my HHS position before I'd even consider 2028. And I think that's what he'd be looking for. And again, I know this information. That is my assumption. That's what I would be doing. So that's why. Yes. Sarah goes on to say, Nicole and RFK Jr. have watched Trump not support all the MAHA picks for cabinet. Nicole is staying independent. I respect that. Ooh, Sarah, this is the best point you've brought up so far. Trump hasn't supported all of the MAHA picks. So why does he support this one? Maybe that's why Nicole's worried. She's like, why is Trump supporting this one? He didn't support the other ones. Huh. Maybe. It's a valid point.
I think that's something we need to really question. I think, especially as a woman, and I'm thinking about having kids soon, I'm thinking about wow, I have the ability in my body to build a human, 3D print a human, pull in a soul to that human. I don't need a peer-reviewed study or a textbook to tell me how to do that. Our body and our intuition and our minds and the subtle things happening inside us are.
Well, I don't always agree with all that stuff, to be fair with you. But I don't care. Again, you own your life. You own your body. You decide what to do with it, what to put in it, how to act in it. That's you. I don't get to decide that. I decide with my body. You decide with yours. That's how that works. So I don't agree with all that stuff. I don't care. I'm not even woo-woo at all, but I don't care. Whatever gets you to your happiness is the right answer. It's in our founding documents. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You are not guaranteed happiness in America. You are guaranteed the pursuit of happiness. And if that's doing what she says or doing what I say, all good. That's what we're trying to achieve. Look, some people are asking me about the like button. Here, I'm going to tell you. Please click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. If you don't do it, you hate the children. I don't know. Is that what else? You're woo-woo. That's what you are. You're too woo-woo if you don't. See? So click the like button or you're woo-woo. Woo, I guess, is an insult. Is that what it is? So yeah, it's an insult, I guess. But yes, you're that if you don't do that. Guys, please share this or repost it someplace too. If you have not followed me on Facebook, X, and please Rumble. Rumble, I'm working on getting Rumble up and rocking on, so I don't have to talk like a child when I'm on YouTube. So head over to Rumble. Head over to Larry Sharpe Rumble. Follow me there. Follow me on Facebook and X if you haven't already. If you want your chat to go to the front, I'm grabbing some members to the best of my ability as we go through this. But if you want to go right to the front, super chat me. Super chat me on YouTube, or you can rant me on Rumble. Either one of those. I'm on Rumble right now too. I'm on multiple platforms. I'm on X, Facebook, Rumble, Getter. I'm on 5, 6, 8 different platforms right now. So feel free to go to any of them if you want to. But if you want to super chat me, that has to be on YouTube. Rant me, that's only on Rumble. If you want to become a member, please head over to YouTube. Click the join button, $49 per month to become a member. The more membership I have, the less times I have to be late because I don't got to work so much, and I can jump on this earlier and not be scrambling at 6 o'clock to figure out what I'm doing at 7. So it'd be easier if I could do that. So yes, all become a Rumble member. Click that subscribe button during the live. But no matter what, the easiest and cheapest thing you can do to help is to click the button known as like. Do that, please. All right.
Important. They are incredible. We have now been told that you can't trust it and you are dangerous if you do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think parents are very frustrated right now is because parenting, I'm not a parent yet, but Callie is, but when we're being told now that parents are the enemy for using.
And this is who else says this? Guys, is she that great of an actor? Maybe. But if she's going to go back out and go back on the shows and go back out as Surgeon General, as United States Surgeon General, and say parents matter, and say you shouldn't take away the rights of the parents, and say you own your body, and say your intuition is important. What Surgeon General says that? I don't remember any of them. I remember a Surgeon General saying things like eating eggs is the same as smoking. Yeah. I remember a Surgeon General talking about following the food pyramid. Yeah, basically, which says you have a problem, eat more bread. That's the answer. I remember Surgeon General was talking about just getting more and more shots. That's the answer. Jab, jab, jab. That's your answer. I remember that. She's not that way. Cafecito Break, how are you? So good. I hope you and your other are doing well. Great points, Larry. Had the same questions and concerns. Yes. Don't we all? Don't we all? I agree. Don't we all? Yes. Roger Meadows is in the house. He says, Loomer is in Florida. True. Another citizen ballot initiative state for amendments. Yes. She too, like Shanahan in California, can run a ballot measure to get her MAHA freak on. And maybe they should.
In their own judgment about their families and kids. Like, I think that's probably, it's deeply frustrating to people. And that's basically what we're being asked to do.
So I think that clip actually encapsulates a lot of Callie and Casey means in just the 2 minutes that you heard. So to Crystal's point, they did kind of come out of nowhere. Callie means, and I always confuse their names, by the way. Callie means
more dismissiveness. More dismissing.
The man, their brother and sister. So Callie means the brother, sort of has this whistleblowing story of how he used to be a food lobbyist. So working for some of these like awful, corrupt, big food companies.
Like Coca-Cola.
Like Coca-Cola, right. Yep. And so he started doing like kind of whistleblower threads on X. And that started to get a lot of attention. Now his sister.
So we got a whistleblower and someone who pushed away from the establishment. Two people pushing away the establishment. That's not a bad thing. Am I wrong on this one? Sarah says, I love that Larry shows us different sides and he always has his own take. Why else would you watch the show? Right? I mean, I am good looking. That's true. I am good looking. And I have a very attractive, sexy voice. Also true. But it's not because of that. You can just like listen to me, other stuff. But no, it's because that. That's the reason why. I agree. That's true. And I'm also modest, which is my best trait, is my modesty. Of all my great traits, my modesty is my best. Stelline says, got here late, but I am crunchy MAHA. There are a lot of people who are. Yes, I met many of them. When it was the election night, I was down in Florida at a couple of parties, and I met many women who were there who, in theory, Stelline, should have voted Democrat because of their demographics, right? They were women who were in their 40s or 50s or 60s. This is what the Democratic Party is all about. These women were all educated, all had either college degrees or master's degrees, all of them that I met, of these women I'm talking about. I must have met a dozen, maybe more. And they were all in the demographic that, in theory, by demographic, they should have been Democrats. So I would ask them, why you vote for Trump? And they will all tell me, oh, no, I'm a former Democrat. I'm a Democrat. Okay. Oh, I got it. Makes sense. You're in the demographic. You're in the demographics. Makes sense. Why in the world are you voting for Trump? And almost all of them said the same thing. One or two things or a combination. One of them was, I'm not really voting for Trump. I'm voting for Bobby, but I'm voting through Trump. Okay, well done. That's my whole MAHA piece, why MAHA brought women to the Republican Party. True. And the second was, I can't believe how bad the Democrats treated Bobby. That's what made me understand how corrupt Democrats were. I can't believe how bad they treated Nicole. Also, Nicole's story landed with a lot of women. For those you don't know, Nicole's a MAHA mom, right? She's an autism mom. She is all about this. And a lot of MAHA moms, many of them are crunchy, they completely connect with Nicole. They connect completely with her. And when the Democratic Party treated her so badly, those women said, this party isn't my party. And they weren't like all of a sudden go Republicans, but they knew they didn't want to be a Democrat. So they voted. So yes, so there are a lot of people who are crunchy MAHA who are sitting in the Republican Party now. Well, Laura, if you're listening, Laura Loomer, do you want to keep those people or do you want to let them go back? You might want to let them go back. I know you're hardcore. I know, Laura, you're hardcore. I hope you don't want them all to go back. If you are serious about your MAGA movement, you should want them to stay. You should give in. You should give in and let this walk. That's it. Liberty says the Larry Sharpe team's always ready to pivot. And we did again. True. We did again. Absolutely true. Yes, absolutely. Let me keep going here.
Nominee for Surgeon General, her personal story, and she explains it on that Rogan episode, basically is that she went to med school. And I think it was Stanford.
Yeah, that's
prestigious. Right. And I think they come from a pretty well-off background.
I think their dad is also a doctor.
something like that, right? And
he wrote some book that Laura Loomer did not like about gay people.
Yes,
this is true.
It was called like, it was about a flammingo.
It's a kid's book. I don't know what the book is about.
It's
anyway,
true.
Laura Loomer said that it was about trans people, but apparently it was just about gay people.
It was, just for clarity, for those of you who care, for clarity, it's her dad's book, not her book. And it mentioned gender and sexuality in the book, but the book was not about trans. It was about a gay bird. That's what it was about. That's the truth. Bird is growing up and is unsure about what it is, its life, and realizes, hey, I'm gay. And that's what it's about. So just for clarity, for those of you who care, that's what it's actually about, just to be clear on that one. So IC says, the crunchy lefties that became MAHA were not listening to Tucker or Rogan. But then Sarah says, I started listening to all of them, IC. And that's true. People started moving over, right? I gained a lot of people from the MAHA movement. A lot came over to me. Probably, I don't know, 25% of my audience has become that. About half of my audience is libertarian. About half. About 25% now is probably MAHA. And about 25% is just other people who like me for some reason, who just think I'm hot or whatever, which is fine. I don't mind. I don't mind it being completely that. It's just total surface. Totally fine. I don't mind at all. You guys are all so surface.
We don't even need to get into it, but she went to med school, did 5 years of a residency, and then dropped out because she says she had this sort of awakening as to how, and this is very popular in MAHA world, it's a very popular argument,
yes.
Our medical system is obsessively treating symptoms for the sake of profits that go to pharma, ag, big food. And
yeah. Pharma, ag, and big food. Yeah. Nothing's getting, no one's preventing. That's the point. I'm looking over at Rumble and I see Silver Charm says, Casey Means is a great choice, in my opinion. Read her book. So some people are doing that. That's good. Yes. Sarah's over there also. You're on both, Sarah? Look at you go. This chat is super cool. Just can't usually juggle both. I'm lazy and more familiar with YouTube. Me too. I'm with you on that. Yes. Me too. Yes, absolutely. All righty.
And end up corrupting the medical system rather than treating causes in ways that don't benefit pharma. So Ozempic is a good example. They talk a lot about it.
Yep.
Instead of asking people to spend more time cutting out sugars or carbs, or doing a lot of physical activity, we just give people Ozempic. And
yes, and yes. So she's talking about eating better, exercising better, and not just giving people a drug. And you're mad because what?
Whether or not that's true, that's the argument that they have. I think there's actually a lot of truth to their criticisms.
Yes, there is.
And actually to RFK Jr.'s criticisms of the corruption in the system. But do they then?
How is that even a question? Right? Sometimes I am so disappointed by her. She is clearly intelligent, but she just doesn't have a powerful personality enough to say what she probably believes in her heart, or she's worried, or she's intimidated by the monster that is Crystal. So maybe she's intimidated by the monster that's Crystal. Perhaps that, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. How can you think that's not true? Even if you disagree, you might disagree completely with what RFK Jr. is doing. And I get that. Lots of people can't. It is controversial. I get it. But I think he's wrong on his criticism. You're not paying attention. I mean, his criticism is 100% demonstrably true, even if he would disagree with the fix.
And peddle appropriate solutions, that's where the question becomes much more significant.
Yeah, it's very well and diplomatically put. Because and here's the thing.
Yes.
How I feel about these people.
Yes.
Because
she even said these people. Can you possibly dismiss them more? These people. Can you possibly dismiss them more? No. You can't. Correct. You can't.
She and Callie Means and RFK Jr. and the MAHA crew, like they'll talk a lot about the profit motive and the corruption in the system, et cetera. But then your solution has nothing to do with getting the profit motive out of the healthcare system. And in fact, both Callie and Casey Means have their own for-profit healthcare companies.
Wait a minute. Is there someone else who's talking who has a for-profit company? Oh, wait, you! Do you do this for free? You don't, do you? You don't do it for free? I do this shit for free, but you don't. I don't make any money off the show. She makes a whole lot of money off her show. Does it make me better than her? I mean, I am better than her, it's true. But however, that's not the reason why I'm better than her. Am I better than her because I don't make money off the show? Not enough of you guys are members. See, you guys got more. You got to be members to click more the like button. Click the button, share this more so I can be all rich and richer than her. And then I can make all the money and then she can insult me. That will be fair. I would love that. Guys, please click the like button. Share this everywhere you can so I can get the views she gets. And then I can call her name. So she can call me names. I'm sorry, she can call me names then. Yeah. No, by the way, I'm a libertarian. I'm not against profit at all. I hope we all make lots of profit. I hope you all make tons of money. I hope we all do. Good for you. Make tons of money. Let her make money. Why do I care about the profit margin if people are being preventative? Right? The point of the biomedical stuff is to prevent problems. Right? I don't go to a doctor ever. That's not true. I'm exaggerating. I go to a doctor every 4 years when I run for office. Otherwise, I don't go. Why would I? I'm preventative. Do I have to pay money for this? I do. Does some company make money off me? Yes, they do. I have a Whoop, by the way, right? They make money off me because I pay them every month, a monthly fee. I don't care. It's the profit motive. Ooh, evil. But somehow, I don't have to go to a doctor because I take care of my health, so I don't have to go. It's preventative. It isn't the profit motive that matters. It's how you do it. Is the break-fix model or the preventative model, which, by the way, IT has taken on. But she's so affected by her ideology that she can't even imagine what she's saying, and she can't see her own hypocrisy. You might not like the fact that I enjoy profit, but I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm literally telling you to become a member. She is too, but you know, she doesn't. If you haven't noticed, she doesn't talk about becoming a member. She makes Sagar do it. Have you noticed that? She makes Sagar do it because Sagar doesn't care. He's like, give me the money. I don't care. He's getting a kid. He's married. Hey, give me all the money. She won't do it, but he will. This is what a hypocrite she is. It's the profit motive while she makes tons of money because she's poor, right? Stop. Andrea, you are the best. Gifted 5 memberships. See, you keep doing this. I'm going to be richer than her. She's going to start calling me names, Andrea. I'm going to blame you when she calls me names, but it'll be fine. Oh, good. 5 members, guys. Remember our rules on this. Remember our rules. If you make more than $2 million per month, you may not take a gifted Sharpe membership. If you make less than $2 million per month, please take one of the memberships. That's the rules, right? If you make $2 million a month or more, pay the $49. Show me you. Pay it. If you don't make that, feel free to take a free membership. Thank you so much, Andrea. I appreciate it. It is amazing that we get more and more people doing this. Yes, absolutely. Okay. IC says Marianne became annoying when she co-hosted on The Hills Rising. She was a bit aggressive. But again, the reason why she's that way is because she is a true believer. Like, she's a true believer. She's not saying things because she's trying to get clicks or something like that, or she's trying to be mean. She believes it. And again, it may still annoy you. I'm not saying she's not annoying for you. Perhaps it does annoy you, but all I'm saying is her heart is in the right place. That's what I would say.
That their solutions, whether it's to COVID or anything else, just happen to bolster their own profit-making direction. It's like, and well, so what if we applied the same analysis you're applying over here? What if we applied that to you? What if
we applied to you? Well, you make no money. So let's apply it to you. Sadly, it's applied to me. But why make it
that, you know, what does that come out looking like? So in any case, these two individuals.
Yeah, Peace noticed it. Older son Kyle. Correct. I always say that. That's a purposeful dig. It's true. It's true. You're right. Yes. Okay.
apparently a lot more controversial in some of the MAGA and MAHA world than I really expected.
This was like overturning a rock, and seeing beneath the surface that there's all kinds of like bugs fighting each other.
Yeah.
Now they're bugs. MAHA people, they're bugs. So Crystal says, these people. And then she says, they're bugs. We're not dehumanizing, are we? We're not dismissing, are we? No, we're not.
And I don't mean that wasn't to imply people are bugs. It's just to imply that like beneath the surface of MAHA, there's this raging battle for the soul of MAHA, because the close stakeholders have, like, this is a very tight-knit circle. I think it's a fair way to say, not just online, but offline. A lot of these people know each other, work with each other now, and RFK Jr. is the figurehead of the movement. A lot of people have personal relationships with RFK Jr.
True.
And we didn't have time.
I know a lot of people who literally can call RFK Jr. I know a lot of people can, who can text him and he'll respond. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. He really is a piece of it. It's very true. Yes. Grace says a lot of MAHA folks have felt unrepresented for years, and these people vote and donate. You are so right, Larry. Correct. There is, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of money in MAHA. Nicole Shanahan is one of many people who are wealthy and support RFK Jr. Remember, him and his PACs raised over $30 to $40 million. Him and his PACs, maybe $40 million. What independent candidate raises that kind of money? There's money in MAHA. There absolutely is. You got to find the right people. What she's not getting, right, is Nicole is right. MAHA has been very close-knit and concerned, and people came in trying to fight. Look, when I came into the movement, they didn't know who I was. Sadly, they didn't listen to me fast enough. They should have, right? But once they saw me go in the press and defend Bobby, they're like, okay, this guy's real. Okay, he's real. Yeah. Once they saw me defend Bobby, yes. Now, unless I'm the greatest actor of all time, I mean, Denzel, move aside, right? If I'm not, then Denzel, move aside. I'm the greatest actor that's ever lived, and I should have already won my Oscar, right? Already, if that's true, right? So, no. I feel like Callie and Casey would have to be that good of an actor. That's what my head is. They have to be that good of an actor. Gotta tell Denzel, step aside. I'm here now.
I'm going to put this in the rundown because it just this was all happening last night. But Dr. Jack Cruz, who is really big in MAHA circles, and he's been on podcasts with like Andrew Huberman, I think, before, as MAHA guy. He says, quote, I have it on firm authority that Kelly Victory, another MAHA figurehead, was Bobby's pick last weekend for Surgeon General. Kennedy called people Monday and said Jeanette was out, and Kelly was the front runner in a phone call to Kelly from RFK. All caps. This means Bobby has no juice, no power.
Now, this is the point that I'm bringing up. Nicole says a similar thing. Now, I don't have inside information on this. I'm telling you what both of these people just said. Right? Nicole says someone else is doing this. And then this person says, hey, Bobby can't make this happen. What does that mean Bobby needs? Allies. He needs allies.
DJT, Donald Trump, allowed Susie Wiles to put in the World Economic Forum and Fabians inside the gates. So this is not a random nobody. This is somebody in MAHA world who's pretty significant and is already staunchly against this nomination for Surgeon General. The Meanses have been very close. The Meanses have been very close to Bobby Kennedy. That's obvious. Sure. Everyone kind of knows that.
Yeah.
But they come across to a lot of people in MAHA world as suspicious. And her nomination, when they thought that their other ally, Kelly Victory, had it, just grated on these people who were already very suspicious of Callie and Casey.
Yeah, it's a valid point. All of a sudden saying X and then Y happening does make people suspicious. I get it, right? I do. Again, Nicole's fears are valid fears. They're valid. And what we'll find out is when they do the hearings. There's one last piece I want to bring up here about this whole idea, which is some of this could just be distraction. This could be distraction. This could be Trump saying, I haven't been able to have that much good news to get people to think about stuff I'm doing. Let me throw this out there. and then everyone will red meat jump on it, and then Kennedy will start taking the hit for stuff, and I can walk away. It could be that too. That's not beyond Trump, right? Trump's team has been very good at throwing people out there and taking the hits while Trump does something else. They were brilliant with Vance doing it, right? RFK Jr. doing it. So yeah, Tulsi Gabbard for a while. Yeah, I mean, it could be done. I think that's true. Yes. So, all right, let me grab a couple of these if I can. Kim says, you're always right, Larry. Not always, but very often is what I'll say. Kim says, Larry also takes his ass whippings with pride. I do. I wear my failures on my sleeve. It's true. I don't try to hide them. I learned a long time ago, if I don't hide things, no one can blackmail me because all my stuff's out in the open. So there we go. Done. And no one's shocked because, oh, wait a minute. I heard Larry got his ass kicked. Yeah, he told the whole world. It's true. So yes. Liberty Lady says, I agree with Larry that Trump would not do that just to step on Meatball Ron's balls. Yes. Matt says, I don't think a 74-year-old Kennedy will be interested in running again. I actually don't know. I could see either one of those two. I could see him running. I could also see him not. I could see him doing both. I'm not sure where we are right now, right? I'm not sure. Mike Voss back from Walking the Pooch. Government has never been known for efficiency. It's always about who you know for every high profile position, for every high profile position. Remember FEMA head during Katrina? Horse trainer, but had right friends. Yeah, I think he's right. That's my point. I think those savvy people also get people who are loyal, right? I think that's critical. People who are loyal. Yes. Joel says, I'm wondering what the Democrats will have to say to stop Casey Means. She seems unimpeachable. She's very impeachable because, sadly, MAHA and Republicans are doing all the Democrats' work for them. They're actually being smart, right? The Democrats are like, oh, okay, let them fight. The old meme with the Godzilla meme, let them fight. That's what Democrats are doing right now. They're doing that right now. Let them fight. Yes.
They do think the story is a bit convenient that both of them sort of dropped out of these prestigious gigs, medical school, residency, lobbying work, suddenly started infiltrating Bobby Kennedy world, which is quite interesting. You can imagine those circles are filled with people from all walks of life.
And that has been a problem with an RFK team, to be very full with all of you. And those of you who worked in that world know there are a lot of people who are really protective of Bobby, like really. They're protective of Bobby and also protective of their relationship to him. They don't want anybody else get involved. There's a lot of people who are that way. That's actually very true. That is a problem, an understandable one, but it is a problem. Stelline says, I like Nicole, but I also like Casey. I'm with you. I know Nicole. I like her. I adore her. I think she's amazing. I want her to run for office or be involved or stay in the movement, whatever. I do not want her to go away in any way, shape, or form. So yes, I know you guys are good met, but I also like Laura. I get along with her. I do. I like them both. But yeah, I'm in the same spot. I don't know Casey before. I've never met Casey. I don't know her. She seems nice, but I actually don't know her. Maybe one day I'll meet her.
Including, like Intel world, including like quirky science world. It's just got to be the strangest place to go to Thanksgiving dinner. Can you imagine?
But that's not a bad place to go. I've been in those rooms, and you might think it's a bit crazy, but it's actually very fun. It is. So Glenn over on X says, Bobby thinks years ahead. His plan requires him to be successful in 2 years or so. Yes, of course, he's focused on success. He has to be focused on staying in place first, Glenn. But yes, I think you're right. Yes, I think you're right.
Libby Nazi.
No, actually. People from Glossy Magazine, like it's just crazy stuff. So they're very suspicious of the Means. They see them as people who may be compromised by the political establishment. And this just set that into hyperdrive.
So this is the one that was really shocking to me. Nicole Shanahan, who was RFK Jr.'s vice presidential pick and she has said some things that she was nervous about, but she's, as far as I know, really held back on any significant criticism of him or HHS or the Trump administration. She tweeted this. Yes, it's very strange with regards to Casey Means being put in.
Very strange.
Doesn't make any sense. I was promised that if I supported RFK Jr. in his Senate confirmation, that neither of these siblings would be working under HHS or in an appointment, and that people much more qualified would be. I don't know if RFK very clearly lied to me or what is going on. It has been clear in recent conversations that he is reporting to someone regularly who is controlling his decisions, and it isn't President Trump. With regards to the siblings, there is something very artificial and aggressive about them, almost like they were bred and raised Manchurian assets. There is a lot going on in that one tweet. I mean, first,
they are just loving this like there's no tomorrow. But the reality of it is, I want to be very clear. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form, Nicole, that you were lied to. I don't think that's true. I don't think so. I know a lot of people you see in my chat are like, Bobby thinks through this. Bobby's planning all this. Bobby's planning on this. Bobby thinks through this. I'm not sure that's true. That's what I'll say. I'll be nice. I'm not sure that's true. And the reason is not because Bobby isn't smart. He is insanely smart. That is not the reason. The reason is he doesn't think like a military tactician in a swamp, which is how you have to think to survive in this world, right? That's the issue. Not that he's an intelligent. Bobby Kennedy is clearly smart, absolutely. But he and the people around him, many of them are crunchy MAHA people, right? Do those people think like a heartless general in a swamp, a military general in a swamp? No, they don't. So they can plan, but they're not going to understand where the attacks come from. And I thought I was very savvy in 2018. And attacks came where I didn't even see them coming. And I was pretty good. And then I prepped for all of those. The battles that I lost in 2018, and my team will tell you, I prepped for every one of those battles. There was no way they would get me again in those battles. And the swamp knew that. And they went, oh, Larry's ready for that. We can't go there. They went a different way. And I couldn't stop them in 2022. And I think that way. And I've been in the swamp. And I couldn't make it happen in 2022. I'm just saying, Bobby doesn't fight here in that way in the swamp. I don't think he lied. I think he was misled or made a mistake. That's what I think, because that's been common. That has been common. Yes. Glenn is over on X. He says, RFK Jr. supporters who were voting for Bobby and why. That was one of the episodes. Oh, yes. Thank you for that one. Yes. I remember that. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Let me keep going here.
First of all, she had to be persuaded to support RFK Jr. in a Senate confirmation hearing.
Yep.
That's news in and of itself.
Yep.
And one of the pledges that was made is that Casey and Callie Means would be nowhere in this administration.
So interesting, by the way.
Right, because
they're all
to your point, RFK Jr. talked about them a lot on the campaign trail.
He
did.
You know,
in big speeches, he would make a point of shouting out, Callie Means in particular. And so the fact that this is a little behind the curtain and behind the scenes, she wants nothing to do with them.
Yep.
That's true. Sarah yells, the way Larry yells, garbage is what I aspire to someday in family disputes. I was thinking about this morning. Got to find the right time to use it. And you got to know that what they're saying is absolutely not true. You can only say that if it's that way. So yes, absolutely. So Silver Charm says, Casey is a very specific and accurate speaker, and I agree with her on everything I've heard. Oh, I like that. So some people are actually liking her. That's awesome. I love that.
Is actively seeking out pledges that neither one of them will have anything to do with this administration, and is now saying not only maybe he lied to me, or maybe someone he has no juice. Someone regularly is controlling his decisions, and it isn't President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a whole lot there, and I think it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's accurate. Yes. Sarah says Larry is basically admitting to having a criminal mind. Yes. Okay, some of you guys know what I do for a living, right? I'm a business consultant, and I'm also I also work with criminal attorneys, defense attorneys, and I work with politicians. That's why I'm a consultant. That's what I do. So yeah, I literally work with defense attorneys. So the defense attorney will literally have me interview the client, so I can figure out how they did the crime. Yes, so I'll explain the crime, because sometimes lawyers don't get it. Sometimes the lawyers don't get it because there actually is no crime. Sometimes people come to us and they didn't commit anything. So I will tell them, I will explain to the lawyer what the prosecution is trying to do, where the money went, how it got here, all those things. Yes. Yes. And so now once you understand how it worked, now you decide, do you still want to fight? Do you want to plea? How can you get the best? Again, I am not about getting guilty people off. That is not my goal. My goal is to make sure everyone has a fair trial, and if they're guilty, to get fair sentencing. That's what I want. What I've seen so many times, which is what breaks my heart, which is why I don't do this as much as I used to anymore, is I've watched innocent people go to jail more than once. So the reason why I can't stand a system, because I know the system crushes people. You may go, Larry, how do you know they didn't do it? I'm on the defense team. They say everything. We know who did it and who didn't. We can't talk about it legally because we will go to jail. You can't break the client attorney privilege. So I know who did it and who didn't do it, right? So if they didn't do it, we want to get them off. They did do it. We want a fair trial and fair sentencing. That's what we want. Or a fair deal, whichever one. We want something fair. So I don't want people going to jail when they should go to jail or doing 20 years for something they should do 5. So yes, I am admitting that. I've already admitted it more than once. Yes. Becky Lee has become a member. Thank you, Becky. I appreciate it. Yes, more members, the better. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So yes, I kind of already did that. Yes. So Nico says, how do you become a consultant? You have to be able to convince people that you can give them value. That's the piece. You have to convince people that you can give them value. If you can convince people you can give them value, you can become a consultant. Or you can also just work for a consulting company. That also works. But I work for myself. So that's it. That's it. Alrighty.
Also comes in the context of, like we were saying before, as the administration becomes more unpopular, you're going to see more things like you're going to see more cracks emerge, more people coming out who are willing to be critical, who were not willing to be critical before.
That's a good point. And by the way, paranoia breeds paranoia. So when I mentioned
so now they're all paranoid now. Note the dismissive. Did they give us in this entire thing that they're laughing and joking about for the past 15 minutes? Did they give us anything of actual value? No. This was just, let's laugh and joke about how people who are not establishment are failing. Isn't that great? Isn't that amazing? Aren't we so happy they're failing? Yeah.
Tell a couple minutes ago, the reason I say that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is somebody who is incredibly critical of the CIA for obvious reasons, and is actively taking steps to get these files released that obviously the intelligence world does not want released. And we could have separate debate and segment all about what's actually happening in that space. But the bottom line is he's obviously somebody who would be a target for concern and surveillance from that world. And you see how that is, that's pretty much people agree on that. Like, it's not that's.
Yeah, so why are we talking about this? Again, she's just going down a road. They're just so happy to say that he's failing. That's all it is. Someone asked, what does this thing do? This is a Whoop. There are many things like it. This keeps track of my sleep. This keeps track of my things like blood pressure. It keeps track of my resting heart rate. It keeps track of calories I burn, all these things. So it keeps track of my health. So my stress level, all those things. It keeps track of everything. And it does it on my phone. So I can pop on, look at it whenever I want, and see how well I'm sleeping, how much I'm in deep sleep, how much I'm in REM sleep, all those things. So I've always had trouble sleeping. That's not true. I've always had trouble going to sleep because I don't ever want to go to sleep. I want to keep working. So I want to stay up all night and I want to work all night. I know it's dumb, but it's true. I don't like sleeping. Sleeping is a waste of time. For me, that's how I see it. I don't enjoy it. So I've always had tough time getting enough sleep. So this allows me to push myself. It tells me when I should go to sleep. So it nudges me. Go to sleep now, idiot. Go to sleep now. I need that. I almost never do, but it does nudge me. It tells me what time I should get up. If I go to sleep so late, it does that kind of thing. If I'm in good sleep or not. So it tells me that type of thing. How many calories I'm burning every day. If I'm being very active, it gives me an active level of how active I am. If I'm being more active or less active, all those things. So yes. And it allows me, if I want to put into it how much caffeine I'm having. I will never do that. But yeah, I can do that too, because I have far too much caffeine. That's why I don't want to sleep. So any case, this is not caffeine tonight though. This is just water. No caffeine tonight. I'm being good. So yes. Liberty says, Larry doesn't have to go to the doctor because keto is magic. We've covered this. Yes. I hope I answered your question. So There we go. That's what it does. And that's why I don't need that. So yes. All righty.
That's not crazy, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's just, yes, of course, they would be keeping track and keeping tabs on someone like that, especially now that he's in a really big position of power in the United States government. Now, on the other hand, because some of that stuff is obviously just sort of true, logical, common sense.
Yes.
You end up with paranoid people fighting other paranoid people. It's sort of a circle of.
So they're all paranoid. See how it's nothing. Where was the point that they're wrong? Where was that? Nowhere. It's insult, insult, insult. Nothing but insults. Kay John is watching. Thank you for being a member. She says, if Jesus I think she means the one himself, joins up with MAHA, ready to heal everyone, she'd still look down at her snoot and call him these people. True. Absolutely true. That's literally what they would do. Because again, no matter what, we have to absolutely insult them. Yes. Santiago says, Crystal is the bat poop. I like that. That's nice. I like that. Grace, Larry Sharpe, keto libertarian MAHA. Look at that. All those things. Look at that. I'm all the things. I love it.
Paranoia that is trying to be a governing coalition. And that is incredibly difficult to hold together, just in a practical sense. Like not even based on the merits of MAHA, it's just practically really hard. I think we saw this happening actually at the Pentagon, where they were so paranoid about leakers that someone who was trying not to leak ended up getting pushed out of the Pentagon for leaking, even when he was trying not to leak, because the paranoia is so intense. And I think we're seeing the same thing happen in MAHA world, but that's where just my last point is MAHA the language world about born and bred Manchurian candidates in the Shanahan tweet is, and she calls it, quote, very strange. It is, I think, alluding to and generating a sense of paranoia in MAHA world.
Yeah, but the paranoia comes from something that's real, not because of what she's saying. What some of you know already, and some of you don't. When it comes to independent movements, independent. When it comes to movements that are not mainstream, meaning not Democrat, Republican, the MAHA movement is by far the largest movement there is in this country right now. It's not even close. It used to be libertarians, particularly back in 2016. In 2016, 2012 to 2016, even up to maybe almost 2020, in that area, it was libertarians. That's gone now. That's gone now. The biggest movement that's not Democrat Republican is MAHA now. So what happens? People are infiltrating. People infiltrate libertarians. Some of you were there and watched and saw that happen. So there is a valid reason to be concerned, but it's not because what she's saying. It's because people want to infiltrate it and destroy it. It's true. There were people who jumped on the campaign trying to stop Bobby Kennedy's people from getting the appropriate signatures. I'm not joking. They wanted to stop it. The system does not want any other group movement to be successful, whether it's libertarians or MAHA or whatever, right? They don't want them to at all. And that's where they constantly are failing. JGJ, thank you for being a member, says, could Cali Means be Matt Gaetz? So a reasonable and powerful MAHA person could get the role. That's what I was bringing up. You kind of touched what I was talking about. Is it possible this is just distraction? It's possible. It's working. I mean, Breaking Points is talking about it. The mainstream news is talking about it. Glenn Beck is talking. I'm talking about it. We're all talking about it. So is it possible this is just some form of distraction that the Trump people threw up to just make this happen? It's possible. If it is, we'll know soon, because they're going to have to schedule. I don't know if they've scheduled already the hearings. If all of a sudden they cancel them or something like that, yeah. Massman Hour says, I just wish I was interesting enough to have any secrets. Hey, make them up. Make them up. It's fine. Just make them up. Doesn't matter. Elder says, Larry, it's not your great looks, but your great intellect that is most attractive. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. Nico says, if Del Bigtree and Mike Hyman don't say anything, it's cap. Really? Maybe. Del's really big in the movement still. I mean, I know those of you who may not know, Del Bigtree, very close to Bobby Kennedy Jr., runs one of the PACs that now supports MAHA. He has a lot of influence in the movement, what he says. People do pay attention to what he says. He's a lot of influence. I've met him before. I like him. Seems like a nice guy. I raised money with him. We've raised money together for Bobby together. So yeah, and he still has a lot of influence. We won a panel together at Freedom Fest 2 years ago? No, last year. Last year, panel together at Freedom Fest. So smart guy, very influential. Has his own, not podcast. He has his own almost like YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff. So absolutely. So yeah, it's a good point. I should look and see what he says. That's a very good point, Nico. I'm gonna look and see. Yeah, I'm gonna go check that out. Yes, I'm gonna look for that.
Which is already conspiratorial.
Yeah,
and
that's such a great point.
Not in ways that are I think there are some really suspicious things about Robert F. Kennedy's the shooting of Robert F. Kennedy. I don't think that's insane. Mm-hmm. But if your gateway into politics is from those issues, then you end up sort of in these paranoid firing circles, like Mexican standoffs, like the Spider-Man meme.
I saw Mike.
Absolutely not true. She's just made that up. And she's utterly not true. She's made that up. None of that's true. The reason is they were literally infiltrated more than once. That's the reason. She doesn't know that, so she's just talking trash. She made that up. None of that's true. None of that is true. Glenn says, I disagree with you, Larry. Bobby is the most strategic thinker out there. Look at what he achieved as Secretary of HHS and ask yourself if this wasn't his goal all along. It wasn't. It wasn't. Glenn, I'm telling you the truth. Certain things I tell you I'm unsure of, I'm guessing, I think. In this one, I have inside knowledge. It was not. It was not. Now, was it savvy that he made it happen? Yes. That was savvy. Well done. I'm not mad that he did it. Well done. But that was not planned years ago. 100% no. It was not his goal. I am 100% sure of that. And in that case, I have inside information. I am 100% sure this was not his goal all along. At all. It was not. Just being forward with you, brother. Just being forward.
Flynn is now who was like the number one QAnon hero is now some QAnon people think that he's,
oh boy,
I
did not
came
see
up
that.
With some other conspiracy in which he's the villain. So that speaks to the dynamic you're talking about. I just pulled up Laura Loomer's Twitter feed and she is going in.
Oh, is she?
She is going in on Casey Means. Yeah, she's fighting with Charlie Kirk about it.
And look, she loves it. Oh, they just love it. This is supposedly a news station. Supposedly. So yeah. Becky Lee says, Nicole is somewhat closely connected to Dr. Jack Kruse. Is it Kruse? Dr. Jack has great distrust for the siblings. Check out the Danny Jones podcast episode with Jack and Callie. It's a brutal watch. You know what? I will check this out. I will. Thank you for that, Becky. I will look at that. I will check that out. Thank you for that. I will. Let me write it down so I don't forget. I will check it out. I will check it out. Am I supposed to do like a show on it or should I just watch it? I will write it down and I will actually check it out. I will. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I do pay attention. See, I pay attention. Nico says, how'd you become a consultant? I was a sales rep for years. I was an entrepreneur and my first business I sold off. And I thought to myself, why in the world should I be selling and building business when I can just teach people how to do it? I'd rather teach. I'd rather do it. So I joined a networking group called Business Network International, BNI. It's a popular networking group across the entire country. It was very popular back in the 2000s when I first started it. When I first started going along, met a bunch of people, networked a lot, and started teaching people stuff, teaching stuff for free, a lot of free stuff, taught at colleges. So I just kept doing stuff where I was kept teaching people and going on podcasts, all that kind of stuff. Back in the day, even then I would go on podcasts when it was small, local ones, business ones. I used to speak at like local trade shows, stuff like that. People thought, that guy's pretty smart. We should pay him. And I went, you're right, you should. That's how I became a consultant. That's how you do it. So yes. Yeah. Celine says, you're a little woo-woo because you think keto is magic. So you believe in magic. True. I'm not against that. I'm just not that other type of woo-woo, but we all are kind of woo-woo in a way. And it's fine. If that's what makes me happy, Celine, I'm in. If, I don't know, doing shrooms makes you happy, I'm in. Whatever's going to work. So yes. By the way, Nico, if you want more details, just you can, there's an email you can check that I put. If you check for the if you're a member, go to the community tab on YouTube and I have an email. You can email me if you want a question or something, just email me. So yes, I'm happy to answer your question if you want to. Happy to. So yes. All righty. Let me see if I go down here. Mike says, Dems are salivating as they try to prop up a mystery man, Elon, in the shadows to claim Trump is weak and admin is corrupt. Same people who never answered who ran US when Biden was out 18 hours a day. Not sure where you're going with that one. I think they're happy that this is happening for sure. Yeah, I'm sure that they're happy this is happening. They always want that to happen. So yes. So Master Manao says 1/3 of your life unconscious seems excessive. I agree, which is why I can't stand sleeping. True. Yes. Matt says I'm skeptical of that thing measure sleep. I have trouble staying asleep. I usually wake up 3 times a night. It tells me literally when I wake up, when I'm not, when I'm in REM sleep, when I'm not, and it's pretty accurate. It tells me the time when I fall asleep. When I don't have to program it. I just fall asleep. It says when I fell asleep, when I wake up. It does it on its own. It can tell. I don't know how it does it, unless it's just magic. I mean, maybe Whoop is magic, but it does. It's pretty accurate. It's accurate in how I feel, my recovery time when I work out hard. It knows when I work out. It tells me what level, what zone I'm working out in. Zone 1, 2, 3, 4. I try to never go into zone 3 or 4. I try to stay in zone 1 and 2 because I'm not trying to get big. I'm trying to stay slim and in shape. I'm not trying to get big. So I usually don't go into zone 3 or 4. I stay in zone 1 and 2 for most of my workout whenever I work out. And it tells me when I can and when I don't. So yes, I hope that made sense. But maybe I'm wrong. I feel it. Even if I'm wrong, Matt, and it doesn't do it, I feel like it does, which makes me care about my health. So it does the job either way. So even if it's lying to me, I'm still more concerned about my health and thinking about it. So I'm good. Yes. Cafecito says, yeah, we know people infiltrated. We have a reason to question. She knows she was helping out in the campaign. Her and her partner were helping in the campaign. 100% true. She knows. Yes. Absolutely true. 100%. Nico says, Callie is a senior advisor. He can't be touched. Also true. Also true. Yes. Absolutely. So Liberty Lady says, at Nico, I agree about Mark Hyman. So I think we're agreeing. I think we are agreeing. Yes. All righty. I will try to grab some more of these if I want to. Matt says, oh, I mean, I wish it to be super accurate. Lol, I'm just skeptical. It may or may not be. Again, I think it works either way. So I hope it's true and works. I have no way of actually knowing how accurate it is, except that how I feel and what I see matches what it says. That's what I will say. So yes, Sarah says the devices that measure HVR are really interesting to me. It does. It does. It measures that too. It does. Yes. So yeah, that is what I think. It does. Yes, absolutely. So anyway, Kim says, so Larry, you the one taught real estate world how to buy and sell real estate with no money out of pocket. I did not do that. That was not my fault. I did not do that. However, I did teach people sales for a long time. I did. So I had an actual, for those of you who care, you can go to I have a YouTube page and a lot of free videos. If you want to be in business, you can do it. Go ahead. It's the Neo Sage. If you look to there, it says Neo Sage. That's my company logo. If you want to go there, it's a bunch of free videos there. The Neo Sage. They're from many years ago when I do more of it. I don't do as much consulting as I used to for business, but I still do some. So sales classes, networking classes, leadership classes, how to hire people, how to fire people, all those things. So a whole bunch of videos there. Enjoy if you want to, if you're in business. So please feel free. Glenn says, I meant after he realized there was no way the Democratic Party let him primary Biden. I agree that in the beginning, Bobby was 100% running for president. True. And he would have beaten Trump and would have made a president. May yet. Agreed on all that. Agreed on all of that. Yes, I agree. Missy says it, the Neo Sage. That is it. Absolutely. Yes, that is absolutely it. I appreciate that completely. Guys, I'm going to ask you one more time. Please click the button known as like. It does matter. I know I say all the time. It does matter. Let me wrap this up.
I'm just going to read you one of her posts because it's interesting. She says, President Trump's pick for U.S. Surgeon General, Casey Means, said she prays to inanimate objects, communicates with spirit mediums, uses shrooms as plant medicine, and talks to trees. She also doesn't even have an active medical license. That is actually true. The inmates are running the asylum. This is literally from one of Casey Means' newsletters. I have the entire page archived and took screenshots. She was just chosen by President Trump to serve as the next U.S. Surgeon General. Take a look at this section on her newsletter. Casey Means said she was looking for romance. She would do shrooms, talk to trees, participate in full moon ceremonies, and pray to inanimate objects with a spiritual medium. So basically, the new Surgeon General is a total crackpot, a shroom consumer, and she talks to trees and doesn't even have an active medical license. She's making me like Casey Means more with this post.
Well, here's it. Do you know who the person was who officiated Crystal's wedding? Marianne Williamson. I'm not joking. Miss Woo herself. So you're mad at her for what? I don't know why you're mad at her. There's no reason whatsoever. This is just hypocritical. It's bad. It's embarrassing. They're embarrassing. It is bad that she does what she does. It's embarrassing that she is the way she is. But she is. That's what she's done. That's how she acts. And if it's her, it's okay. If it's not her, then it's bad. That's how it works. Ken says the placebo effect is an interesting thing. Whether it's health or politics, the D's and R's never do what they say, but people still believe. True. Absolutely true. Yes, absolutely true. So all good. I don't really care. It's all good. It's all good. Whatever makes you happy is what I care about, right? Whatever makes you happy is what I care about. Please be happy. Guys, I'm asking if you would please share this if you have not. Repost this someplace if you haven't reposted it. Follow me on X. Follow me on Facebook. And on Rumble. I'm trying to get to 500 followers on Rumble. If you could go over there and do that, it'd be great. If you have subscribed on Sharpe Way, make sure that you click all notifications. It does matter. I appreciate all super chats and membership. There were a couple free memberships given out today. Grab one if you can. If you have not been able to grab one, you can become a member on your own. $4.99 per month is a great way of doing it. Click that join button on YouTube or click the subscribe button on Rumble. Either way, it's $4.99 per month. That's like a cup of coffee. And you get a whole lot more than that. You get shows almost every day, usually on time. Not always, but usually on time. You do get that, right? That's the key. You can do that if you want to and get a whole lot of cool stuff. But no matter what, click the button known as like. Also, remember that Mr. Rhythm, Algo, loves if after this is over, you put a comment down in the chat after this is over when it's not live. If you do that, and I'm going to ask you if you would please tell me what you think about RFK's picks so far. What do you think about it? Is he doing a good job? Not doing a good job? What's he working on? What do you think about RFK's right now? What he's doing at HHS? What do you think about what he's doing at HHS right now? What is your gut? What do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? Whatever the case may be, please put that in the comments after this is over. And if you're watching this and it's later and it's not live anymore, you can see two videos pop up. One of those videos pop up. Please watch one of them. Mr. Rhythm loves that too. I will see you all very soon.